Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Agnes Low, professional corporate trainer and Gallup strength coach. Today, I'm very happy to have invited my teacher. Which teacher? I have many teachers. One of my very special teachers, I knew him from Toastmasters. Very humorous guy and also full of talent and good hearts to teach his student. I follow him to learn NLP. Later on, you will hear more about his insight, about life, about feeling, and today I'm going to introduce this gentleman. He said he is in a perfect midlife crisis. He is a retired professional civil engineer serving in Hong Kong government for 30 years. Neuro-Linguistic Programming trainer for 13 years. I'm one of his students. He has impacted over 10 of thousands of executives, professionals, and students. Very thankful, he said, thankful to have created a life he wants. That's why we can see he always smile, and it's time to reciprocate. I like this word, reciprocate. That's how he always loved to share and also use his talent and humor to always impact many. Today, he has a very special topic. His topic is only feeling is real. I would like to ask my special guest, Talis Wong, to share about this topic. Talis, thank you for coming to my channel.
Thanks a lot, Agnes. And first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity for my sharing. But first of all, thanks for your flattering comment. And I must say, I'm flattered. All right, okay, so a little bit more about myself. I was graduated from Hong Kong University back in 1979. So it's a long time ago, right? And then I'm an engineer turned trainer or corporate trainer or NLP trainer. So I had a midlife crisis that took place back in 2003. Because before that, I was an engineer, professional engineer for over 30 years, from 1979, all the way to 2009. And then after 2009, I retired, becoming a corporate trainer. And I'm so happy that I found my path during my 30th year while as a civil engineer, while as a civil servant working for the government. And then in 1996, I learned NLP, and since then, I am so happy to have found my path. My path is being a messenger, and to whoever people I bump into, I'm very happy that I could give them the message, helping them to create a life they want. So this has been my past, what should I say, since retirement from engineering. For these 13 years, I've been doing that. Very happy doing all this. All right, so a little bit about further elaboration about my change, my midlife crisis.
Thank you so much. I think a lot of your friends or our friends may not know a little bit detail of your professional change, and now we know a little bit more. So tell us about, why do you choose this topic? What is it related to your professional, or about what is your state of mind? Yeah.
Okay, very good. The feeling is real. In fact, this will be the name of the book I'm writing on. The feeling is real. And I must say, that's been a kind of crystallization over all these years that my learning in NLP helped me to understand a bit more about our feelings. Now, Agnes, you know that we always need motivation, right? You need motivation to do things and things like that.
Absolutely.
And what exactly is motivation? Motivation is the kind of energy inside us, right? And that motivation, we need that energy to push us to do things, to push us forward, to overcome difficulties, challenges, and so on and so forth. We need that energy. And I always like to compare that with a kind of a smartphone. A smartphone is fully charged in the morning, and then you're going out, do a lot of work, and then the battery start to drain off. And the reason it drains off because it could be doing some very useful work for you, or at the same time, at the back of the there are some apps keep on running, and they're using the battery, but they not necessarily be helping us. And that's why we have been advised to kind of delete all those, unwanted, not so useful kind of apps in our smartphone. Now,
Right.
for us, fully charged in the morning, hopefully everybody's fully charged in the morning. We get up and then we're going to do things that we need to do or we want to do. And at the same time, a lot of negative thought comes to our mind such that it's draining us off. And we might become very tired. Now, become tired could be physically, could be mentally. And the mental tiredness is the worst, because if we are motivated, despite we're physically tired, we still can persevere. We still can maintain the kind of drive to go forward, right? Okay. So what I'm saying is that the feeling itself is a reflection of what's going on inside us. And what's going inside us, maybe we could have due to misunderstanding, we could have an illusion and a lot of things, but they could be also very subjective. But at the same time, what it finally galvanizes, becoming a feeling. The feeling is the energy that pushes us forward. And I'm looking at this feeling's real, meaning that we need that real kind of energy to keep us moving forward. So the feeling is really that kind of indication. I'm sure I'm making myself clear on that, because a lot of people are being troubled by their emotions day in, day out. All right, we do have unhappy time, and when we're unhappy, we feel tired, we feel down, and then sometimes even worse, we go into a kind of a negative spiral, and we could hit by depression, stress, and so on and so forth. In fact, this is a kind of energy in us as well. We must turn this energy into something that works for us. As simple as that. As simple as that. So recognizing the feeling, accepting the feeling, will put us back onto a path for constructive kind of actions.
Please illustrate with some live example that we can relate.
All right. Now, between you and me, of course, you know that my earlier life, I went through a divorce, and that was the darkest time of my life. I divorced in the year 1991, and then at that time, I had no exposure to any other NLP stuff, nothing like that. And I almost like any normal person, a young guy at the time, and I went through a kind of very bad depression. And for 1 year, I'm shutting myself up in my own apartment. Every day after work, I went back home doing almost nothing and feeling really bad, feeling depressed, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
And then I was able to climb out from my cave a year later, because suddenly I felt I could not go like this for the rest of my life. Because outside, I was seeing sunlight, I was seeing all these birds singing, beautiful scenery outside. How come I'll be shutting up myself in a little room like that? And you see, that little change in me helped me to start a very new chapter in my life. And where do my energy come from? Because suddenly I'm feeling that curiosity. So I need to find out what exactly I want to do. I could not be staying in this kind of stagnant kind of depression anymore. So leaving that and going into this new, knocking on a new door, opened me up to a new horizon altogether. And the story began with then I look around for kind of new possibilities. Now that include ladies, of course, because I at that time was really want to start a new relationship. And on top of that, I believe that I need to learn something to help me to start a new life altogether. And then this is the opportunity that led me into learning NLP. Now, you see, going back into that particular scene, the feeling was really instrumental in leading me going on a different path. I need that motivation to drive me out from the darkness into a new chapter. So the feeling is real. The feeling was real. When I feel bad, I was feeling bad. I accepted feeling bad, but then I asked myself, then what next? When I said to myself, what next? What should I do? then I'm turning my feeling into some sort of curiosity. And interestingly, that curiosity, again, is real. That curiosity is fueling that kind of motivation in me. And that's why I go out and search something that will help me to lead a new life. I don't know
Mm,
whether, of course, nobody want that kind of, what that kind of experience. I mean, a divorce is never a good thing to anyone.
mhm,
But then, of course, looking back, the divorce really helped me to start afresh. And the divorce helped me to register a very special kind of experience in me. And of course, that experience was not pleasant, but I accepted it. When I accepted it, my feeling will have a very different kind of, what should I say, dimension altogether.
mm. Wow. So
And
basically, what you mean is we need to look at our feeling, acknowledge our feeling, and that is real. And then to see what is like next. And for you, your motivation is curiosity. I really like curiosity because as a coach, I'm also doing coaching. Curiosity is very important to learn from coaching what is more deeper, what is the emotion. So for you, you are curious about yourself, and then you open a new chapter. Hmm.
mm,
This is the step that you move to NLP. Why is it you choose NLP? There are so many different courses, fun, interest, hobby you can learn. You can go to learn golf. Also curious, right?
you're absolutely right. I wouldn't say why I choose NLP. I think it was NLP that chose me.
I like it. I like it. Yes.
uh, Agnes, you know about all this belief in us, right?
Hmm.
Once again, it's something very subjective. There's no right or wrong. If I believe in something, and if that belief helps me, empowering me, that belief is good for me, right?
Hmm.
So if one belief to one person helps that person, that would be a good belief for that person. One man's meat, another man's poison. So never challenge others' belief if that belief helps that person. Only thing here, of course, that I believe that we come to this world with a purpose.
Hmm.
All right, many people believe that too. And once I believe that we come to this world with a purpose, then it will become a matter of how you're gonna find that path that will lead you onto that purpose.
Hmm.
And I that belief really support me a lot because, of course, during that time when I divorced, I had no idea what that was all about. I was only an engineer. Engineer never study anything on belief and how you feel and things like that. Engineering was only on number, on concrete, on steel reinforcement, and so on and so forth. This is not very, very interesting. But then,
Very interesting.
not very interesting, no. It was quite boring. And then of course, that belief would be something that is so important to us. And then I start to learn about when we come to this world with a belief, with a purpose, then the suffering, the not so pleasant experience that we go through is only part of the process.
Hmm.
You'll find it easier to accept that unpleasantness because you know this is the path that you're going through. It's almost like watching a movie, right? When
Hmm.
you watch a movie, there's the happy time, there's the downtime, the not so happy time, and then you are going through the process. When it's not a very pleasant moment, it's the downtime. Then everybody feel bad, and then everything goes back and feeling good. Everybody feel good. This is it. This is it. So once I accepted that we are going on a path to accomplish our mission, and that path is almost like predetermined for you. All you're going to do would be to find that path and do your best. And this is my belief. And I
Hmm.
said, it's NLP who found me
Hmm.
back in 1996 is that somehow I was kind of lost as to what should I be doing, divorce, and I looking for relationship, on work, I was not too happy as an engineer. I don't really think that was what I was after. That was my passion. That wasn't. So interestingly, at that moment, I was able to find a person who directed me onto this NLP thing.
Mm.
That's why I say it's the NLP who found me, not I
Mm.
find NLP. I had no idea what NLP was, and that person who was a trainer at that time, and he is my transition person, that he introduced me to NLP,
Mm.
and the rest is history. And that's how I started.
Mm. Wonderful. That's very good explanation of how it transformed you to be a trainer to this state. So we need to embrace our feeling and understand feeling is always real. And I think your belief is really helping you to come to the journey that is so very fulfilling.
I was on the point that I'm saying that it was the curiosity
Mhm.
driving me forward. Remember that, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So the curiosity obviously it's a positive feeling in a way. So happiness is another positive feeling. We all know about it, right? When
Mhm.
we are feeling happy, then we seem to have all the energy we need, things like that. Now, the tricky thing is that sometimes we all understand we are just mortal. We sometimes we feel good, we feel bad, and we're going through this sort of ups and downs emotionally. And the interesting point here is at times where we feel bad, nobody likes it, but then we still have to say there are such times. And when we feel bad, what should we do? Now
Mhm.
that feeling is real. That bad feeling is real, whatever it comes from, right? And by acknowledging that bad feeling, we need to leave that bad feeling because that bad feeling is draining us, draining our energy down. So the best way to do it would be to find out what that bad feeling is telling us. And once we know the message from the bad feeling, then it will become so much easier to jump into the next phrase, which is the curiosity. Then what can I do about it? And once you're in the curiosity state, then you will become kind of productive, and then you can leave that bad feeling, and you become so much better, and then you will be able to find a way out.
Mhm. Now tell us when you say bad feeling, we all have unhappiness in our life, or we feel no matter it's suffer, especially pandemic or a lot of different examples. How do you get it over? Or how can you give us some example or some advice or some tips? How can you get that spiral down to go back to that curiosity? Because curiosity is already another stage. But sometimes I'm so unhappy, I'm the worst, and I feel so many kind of negative emotion in my own room, in my own world. How can you give us some advice? I think that is very critical. Yeah.
3 steps.
Okay. Yes. I'm opening my
All
ear.
right. Let's go for the 3 steps now. Now, Agnes, first of all, you mentioned that when you feel bad, it's almost like this downward spiral, right? We
Mhm.
all know that.
Yes.
Certainly, it's not easy to leave when you're into that downward spiral. Very difficult to leave that downward spiral. So the very first thing to do would be is that we are now okay. Leave aside the NLP jargon, but what I can say in layman's term would be that if feeling really bad, what can I do? I'm sitting right on this chair, right? Okay. So what would be useful would be that I'm gonna stand up, I leave the chair, I find another chair, find another position. Now leaving the chair physically, interestingly, will help you to leave the emotion because once you leave the chair, you stand up, you will feel slightly different. Okay. Step number one: leave the spot where you feel bad and find another spot far away, hopefully by a meter or so, almost like social distancing, right? And stand over there, and then in the new position, you're looking back and imagine you see yourself in that chair. So if the Talis on the chair feeling really bad, then I will be leaving the chair, stand up, leaving the chair over to another spot, and then from that spot, look back and on this chair as if Talis was still here. And seeing a not very happy Talis on this chair. Now, over there, then I'm going to ask the question, how do you feel about the Talis? Now, interestingly, it would be, I mean, in NLP term, we are in an observer position over there. As an observer, the observer will not have the same feeling as the person here. So that would be a very effective way of leaving the feeling, and so that you will leave the downward spiral. So leaving physically away from that spot. Now this is step number one. And then from that spot, and you are trying to feel how you feel about yourself in this spot. So this is step number one. And step number two, of course, then once you're out there in a new position, and I assure you that you have a very different feeling on that. You could be, now I give you an example. My dad passed away back in 2014. And then of course I learned NLP. I can always be able to kind of protect myself from negative feeling. But then I was in a kind of conflict. I mean, all right, your dad passed away. Don't you have any feeling at all? Really bad, right? So I was going to this observer position, looking at Talis right here. And how do I feel about Talis when he was not quite kind of, what should I say, emotional? All right. So you see, by doing that, I was able to adjust myself. Okay, it'll be fine for me to go into feeling bad. Right? But then because you have the escape button, I can always stand up and leave that bad feeling and go over to the observer position. So important is to learn about that. You have the escape button, that press it, leave it, go to the other position. That's step number one. And step number two would be, you can be asking from that position the question. So what does that bad feeling tells me? What does it tell you? By asking this question, because all the feeling, they bring a message to you. Now, for example, you and I are Toastmasters, right? In Toastmasters, one of the very common, what should I say, each topic would be how to work with the nervousness in public speaking. Okay? Feeling nervous while you're standing on stage and facing the audience, that was not very pleasant when you feel nervous, right? Okay? We don't really want it. And you know, we all look a bit stupid when we are too nervous, blank here, and then you're kind of shaking and like that. All right. But then when you're stepping out from your nervousness and looking at what does that nervousness serve us, what does it tell you? It tells us perhaps that it's because we care. Think about it. Only when we care, we feel nervous.
Yeah, we have that.
I don't care. I don't care at all. I will not feel that nervousness, right? Okay. So there's always a message from the negative feeling. The feeling is telling us something. So the nervousness is telling us, I care. So the next question is, then what should we do? You prepare yourself better. You rehearse a few more times. All right? Things like that. So that's the step number two would be asking what that negative feeling brings you. What kind of message is bringing you? The negative feeling is almost like a messenger. It brings you a message. The feeling of fear, for example, very important.
Yes, very good.
Like, we don't like feeling fear, but then without that feeling of fear, we could have done something even more fearful, right? The feeling of fear really stops us from doing something stupid. So every negative emotion or feeling have a positive message for us. So step number two would be that when you're going over there in the observer position, ask yourself, what does that feeling bring you? What kind of message it brings you? And once you got the message, then you are on the right path, because then you will be taking action. Once you're taking action, you already left the negative spiral. So this is how it works.
Very good. Very good.
The number three is you need to kind of install you so believe in you. Now,
Mm.
for example, what helped me out at the time when I was feeling so bad in that year after divorce. So what helped me out finally was the very first important belief is for me, the best of my life has yet to come. The best has yet to come. I always believe the best has yet to come in my life. So I'm always feeling hopeful.
Mm.
So we need that kind of belief to strengthen us so
Mm.
that it will be more robust in handling negative feelings. So three steps, once again. First, we step out from the sport, physical sport, where we feel the negative feeling and go, on a safe sport. And from that safe sport, looking at yourself as if you see yourself, imagine you see yourself,
Mm.
and then you're going to feel about that feeling, feel about so what's going on here, all right? The step number one, leave that spot, go onto an observer spot. And then step number two, ask the question, what does that negative feeling bring you? What kind
Mhm.
of message you bring? And then what should I do? So step number two, you're already in a curious state, because the two questions I just mentioned will help you to find a way out. And step number three, I call the preventive measure, is that it will be always good that you do something beforehand, install some very useful belief that will make you more robust. So the free
Mm.
step. Now, Agnes, do you see that in the free step we acknowledge the feeling?
Mhm.
And that's important,
Yes.
because we don't even acknowledge the feeling. That means I don't really want to. I don't really want to know what the feeling is telling me, and that's really bad, because the feeling is trying to tell you something, and you must listen to it.
Mm. Thank you so much. That really echo back to your topic.
Mm.
Feeling is real. Our feeling or only feeling is real. And you are not sharing about some theory that how you switch the button. We cannot switch the button from down to up, but look at the feeling. And I really like all the step one, two, three. I already remember how you share with us at our classes before. Yeah, as an observer, as a third person to look at it, it's not only easy, it's more not that subjective, more objective to look at that person's feeling will bring some compassion as well to that person. And then your question number two, I mean, the step two is also very good. Ask what is the message, what is the lesson. Sometimes, if not standing out to look at it, I think it's not that easy, because talking is easy. Oh, hindsight, maybe 3 years later when we look at some bad things happen, yes, there is some lesson, but right away, I think it's not easy. But by NLP, what we learn, that kind of way is very good. So that's why you are a good trainer. Thank you. Thank you, Talis. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add? Yeah.
Yes, because I'm looking at your virtual backgrounds as the happiness transformation series, and I think I'm in the right place. That now talking about happiness, happiness, of course, when you feel happy, it's a feeling, and I say feeling is real. Of course, when we feel happy, it's always good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people are very interested to know, how can I be happy? All right, and then I try to show you on that point, how can we be happy?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to have times of feeling unhappy before we can feel happy. I mean, I'm not sure I make myself clear on that. It's almost like a good meal always begins with hunger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agree. Agree. Yes.
If you're already full, then even the food is very tasty, at the end of the day, you really won't find that good because you're already full, right?
Mm-hmm.
So unhappiness to me is still the same kind of thing we're talking about. That it's only when you go through tough times or you have experience in tough time,
Mm-hmm.
then you will become more appreciative of feeling happy.
Mm-hmm.
Happy is very subjective. You agree, right? But feeling happy is real. And
Mm-hmm.
how can yourself feeling easily happy? You're feeling happy easily would be that if you are able to have times where you feel bad, you go through tough time. People who go through tough time will find so much easier to become happy because just a little bit more will be good enough to give them that reason being happy. All right,
Very true.
you know,
Very true.
for me when I was much younger, our breakfast was very humble. We only eat kind of the Chinese version of pizza, but then one big kind of cake would be for the whole week consumption. So we just ate a little bit a day. And for me, all this butter on toast, they're all very luxurious. And the very first time I had my toast with butter on it, I was feeling heavenly, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling so happy. But then, of course, again, for a lot of people, toast is just something very humble, right? But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's a very kind of big thing already. So you see, it's all very subjective. So my suggestion would be how you can feel happy would be that, of course, you go through tough time before, then you can compare, then you find it so much easier. Your happiness threshold is so much lower. The
Mm-hmm.
next thing would be that you become more appreciative. When you become appreciative of the things you have, is already the button to feel happy because when you feel appreciative, that means you're grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
Grateful is the button to happiness.
Yeah.
That's
You
how
are
I see it.
really, really talking about my channel, the power of gratitude. Yeah. So this
Of
is
course,
exactly.
about your children.
Thank you, Talis.
Right now, it's really very much like finding a reason, right? You can always find a reason. For example, and you know how old I am, right?
You look very young. You're
So
not
much.
old.
But then I'm so happy that among my friends, some of them are saying, when you were able to live or still alive when you're coming to that sort of age, every day is already a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I look around, and for people of my age, that some might be in sickness and some might be in all sorts of other things, right? But then of course, I will feel very grateful to be able to still kind of alive
Mm-hmm.
and in one piece and so happy and healthy. And of course, at the same time, I think there is a reason. If I'm still up and about, I'm very kind of healthy, it's simply because there's still a lot of work awaiting me to
Mm-hmm.
accomplish. I need to go around and help more people and things like that.
Yeah.
Because there was one
Because,
time I heard one celebrity. Now, that gentleman is somebody I look up to, and he was an actor. Now he is in his late 70s, and his wife was unfortunately kind of fell. It's kind of sick. It's a kind of sickness, a kind of illness. But then he was saying that he feel very grateful for his being in kind of healthy state because he said because I need to take care of my better half.
mm,
You are finding a reason to feel good about it, and that's important.
yeah, that's also echo back to the purpose. Yeah, life has
Yeah.
a purpose, and you also feel good about it. Great, thank you so much. Now tell us, this channel, we always let my guests to share about the service because I always believe that everyone has different talents and there is always different kind of audience may need your service. Would you please share your service that we can always key in your email address and find you and look for you, maybe LinkedIn as well. So you can always be the messenger to impact more people.
First of all, Agnes, I'm very grateful to you giving me this opportunity for
My
me to
pleasure.
let more people know about me and about what my service, what I can serve, or what I can help others.
Yeah.
Now, my email is very simple: talis.wong, Talis, talis.wong@gmail.com. This is my email address.
Right.
And what I'm doing is that I do run public program. I do have classes on NLP. You know about this is NLP
Right.
class I'm doing in Hong Kong, and I'm extending it to online and in mainland China. And then of course, hopefully in 2023 there are more physical classes as well. And at the same time, I do corporate training. I do corporate training for companies, and I am doing training for university and students as well. And my LinkedIn is same as Talis Wong. Very simple. It's my name. Then
Yeah.
people can find me. More than happy that I'd like to share more. And I told you I'm writing a book on Only Feeling is Real, and hopefully that would be materialized hopefully by early 2023 next year.
Wow. I'll be the first one to buy it.
In that book, I'll share a bit more about how we look at our own feelings and how feelings can help us to move forward and achieve more in our life. And of course, feeling happy.
Yes, yes. We need to feel happy. Yes. Thank you so much, Talis, for sharing a lot of very rich experience and also insight, not about only the subject you know, it's about life and how the purpose. And I really like the 3 step, and I believe audience listening to this, watching this video will learn a lot how to bring ourselves out from that spiral down.
By the way, the grateful feeling is mutual.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
much. Yeah. So thank you everyone. And if you like this video, channel, sharing, please give me a thumbs up.
All right.
Bye. Bye-bye, Talis.